Nick said, hey, love the show. Perhaps this question is asked a lot, but how would you rate the college football playoff era so far? There are multiple ways to approach the question, as my standpoint is that it has produced the proper and correct champ each year, but the quality of games is concerning. And so Nick's asking a good question here. How do we really rate the college football playoff? What do you use? Do you just care about the right champion being crowned? Do you care about an entertaining product? Or are you like me and you judge the quality or the success of the college football playoff era as it relates to the sport overall? Because to me, if we rate the college football playoff based on the impact it's had on the sport overall, I actually think it's a failure. And I thought it was going to be a success. I remember when they announced that we were going to 4, I was not of the opinion that that was too far. I am of the opinion expanding beyond 4 is too far, but I thought 4 would be fine. I thought that it was going to make the end of the season very exciting. I did not foresee some of the issues that we have had as a result of the playoff and conjoined with the playoff, the way the playoff's been covered. So that sounds like word salad. Here's what I mean. A lot of you guys who watch the show and you listen to the show, you know what I mean, but I want to take it a step further here. So with the college football playoff, we had a lot of things that happened, but I don't think anything about the college football playoff has enhanced college football. By that, to be clear, I mean watching the sport today, I don't think any of it is better than it was in 2011, 12, 13, in other words, the years right before the college football playoff. I don't think that. However, I do think there are aspects of our sport, in the plural, that have been devalued. And I don't think we can argue about this, by the way, whether you look at the regular season, and I don't feel this way, but a lot of people feel this way. So by default, this means it has been devalued. And in the minds of a lot of people, some games in the regular season now don't mean as much because there are not college football playoff ramifications tied to them. Now, again, if you watch this show, if you think like we do, that's not the way that we necessarily feel, but that's the way enough people feel to where we can conclude there has been a net devaluation or devaluing of some of the regular season. Bowl games, this is unmistakable. They have been devalued. Not in our mind. I watch every one of them like I always have, but you'd be kidding yourself to say that bowl games today feel as consequential as they did in 2007 or 1994. Some people would say that's just because there are too many of them. I don't believe that. If you want to scrap 10 bowl games and do an experiment, be my guest. I don't think it's because we have too many of them. I think it's because what the playoff has done to the overall conversation around college football is it has had a net devaluing effect on bowl season. And also players opting out now, to me, has proven that the college football playoff era has led to somewhat of a devaluing of the spirit of competition. Because it used to be, nobody cared that they weren't in the BCS championship game. If they were playing in the Citrus Bowl, if they were playing in the Outback Bowl or the Gator Bowl, we're just talking about every bowl game in Florida now, and it was December 28th or New Year's Day, they were jacked for it. It was another game to them. And so the spirit of competition was just equal. It was like icing spread out across the college football cake. And if anything, that prize at the end of the year, that bowl game, that meant a little bit more. But in the college football playoff era, we've seen that slowly erode. And so I look at those several compartments that I have seen a devaluing of overall college football in the college football playoff era, and I look at it and I say, okay, I think we've gotten the right playoff teams in. I've never disagreed with the 4 teams they've put in. So join me for a second. Just be devil's advocate, even if you don't feel that way. Let's just say, for argument's sake, you think every playoff has had the right 4 teams in. And let's even say you think we've crowned the quote-unquote right champion every year. Even if you feel that way, how do you push against the other things I just said? How do you look and say, and I don't care what it's done to the regular season, and I don't care what it's done to bowl games, and I don't care what it's done to the spirit of competition? Because if you feel like I do, and I know a lot of you do, if you feel like we do, the regular season's what makes the sport great. You know, the spirit of competition is what makes the sport great, and the fact that we have this entity, this man-made thing called the college football playoff that's come along and chipped away at some or a lot of the veneer of those aspects of the sport, that can't be a good thing. So, Nick, I think it's been a failure. And now it's what hurts my heart so much to see that we talk about expanding. If I had my way, I'd just rather contract. If you gave me an option, we can go back to the old model, or we can, I'm not going to say progress, we can move towards a newer model. I'd just take the old way. I don't always feel that way about things, but I'd actually like to hit the rewind button on that.